This is my nightly news update. Have a little bit of information to share from our anonymous military intelligence insider, who shall not be named. Shh. Don't want to get suspended off of social media. We also have a little bit of news from today. It's not going to take a whole lot of time. I will give you the news and information, then I'll let you get on with your day. And I have to get on with editing this pesky book that I'm working on. We're making a lot of progress, just want to let you know. Making good progress on that. All right, so let's get to the news. First of all, our military intelligence insider, whose name is not allowed to be said on social media, except CloudHub, gave us a link to a video last night. It's about the B-2 stealth bomber. And it was a video, and the bomber is dropping bombs. So that's an indication for us, B-2, we have interpreted that as Bill Barr. And so our intelligence insider was telling us, hey, make sure you're checking out Bill Barr information this week. Happenings with Bill Barr. So speaking of Bill Barr, there was actually a lot that happened with the DOJ today. Department of Justice, Bill Barr. This morning, Barr announced that the DOJ is going to label New York City, Seattle, and Portland as anarchy zones, and that is going to hurt them financially. That is going to be in conjunction with a presidential executive order to cut federal funding to these cities. Barr said we cannot allow federal tax dollars to be wasted when the safety of citizenry hangs in the balance. It's my hope that the cities identified will reverse course and become serious about performing the basic function of government. So that's the first little bit of news we have from our B-2 bomber this morning. Then we have some more. Barr met later in the day with Ivanka Trump to discuss the DOJ's progress on stopping human trafficking. And he specifically talked about the role of the U.S. Marshals in finding children who are trafficked and helping end human trafficking. So that was kind of a big thing. DOJ announced today they're awarding a little over $100 million to combat human trafficking. Some of that money is going to go to law enforcement efforts. Some of it will go to help treat the victims of human trafficking. So it's kind of some big news out of the DOJ and Bill Barr this morning. And I think our intelligence insider may have known something about that in advance. That's my suspicion. And all right, let's see, hang on a second. I need to, let's see. I want to make sure you guys can hear me while I'm talking here. And I guess you can. All right, we're groovy. I'm just doing an audio check because I don't want to do this broadcast without any sound. All right. So next we have this story. This came out of the Mirror UK. Flight logs have been subpoenaed in a civil lawsuit where this woman is claiming that she has, I think she said was raped by Jeffrey Epstein's accomplices more than 20 times. So she's got a civil lawsuit going, and the judge has allowed a subpoena for every flight log made by Jeffrey Epstein's aircrafts, including several helicopters and airplanes, over a 21-year period. In addition to the passenger lists, the plaintiff is seeking complaints or reports of potentially suspicious conduct and any personal notes made by pilots. So obviously, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplices are probably a little bit nervous right now, knowing that a lot of that information is going to come out and be made public. All right. Secretary Mike Pompeo today announced that he's going to be taking action regarding economic sanctions, UN economic sanctions on Iran. So he's going to be sanctioning Iran's Ministry of Defense and their armed forces logistics. He's also applying sanctions to Maduro, Venezuela's dictator, and he is asking other countries to honor those sanctions. And it's a tough go for Secretary Pompeo right now because a lot of countries are sympathetic to Iran. They're kind of in bed with Iran, and they stand to make a lot of money if Iran makes money. So Pompeo is having to use a little bit of leverage to try to get other countries to go along with these sanctions. This morning, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 800 points in the first couple of hours of trading. And it was led by losses from major banks after news came out from BuzzFeed that Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase, HSBC, and other banks laundered more than $2 trillion in sketchy transactions that were linked to drug dealers, terrorists, and human traffickers. And these documents were leaked to the Daily Beast, and a lot of news articles are coming out about that. But that tanked the stock market today. So if you're wondering why the Dow took such a hit, that's why. A lot of the larger banks, they lost a lot of money in trading this morning. News out of Florida from Governor Ron DeSantis. He tweeted this out: "Today I announced bold legislation that creates new criminal offenses and increases penalties for those who target law enforcement and participate in violent or disorderly assemblies. We'll always stand with our men and women of uniform who keep the community safe." These are just some of the proposed legislation. A prohibition on violent or disorderly assemblies. Under this proposed legislation, it would be a third-degree felony when 7 or more people are involved in an assembly and cause damage to property or injury to other persons. That's number one. Number two, it would be a third-degree felony to obstruct traffic during an unpermitted protest, demonstration, or violent disorderly assembly. Check this out. A driver will not be held liable for injury or death caused if they're fleeing for safety from a mob. So if this legislation passes and they have an unpermitted demonstration and the mob surrounds somebody's car and the person drives off to get away from the mob and hurts or kills somebody, they would not be liable. Prohibition on destroying and toppling monuments. It would be a second-degree felony to destroy public property during a violent or disorderly assembly. It would be a first-degree misdemeanor for a participant in a violent or disorderly assembly to harass or intimidate a person at a public accommodation such as a restaurant. So we've been watching all these agitators go through restaurants, flipping over tables and harassing people. Well, if this legislation passes in Florida, that would be a crime to do that. And then RICO liability would be attached to anyone who organizes or funds a violent or disorderly assembly. So Ron DeSantis is not having any of this this stuff. He's law and order, and I'm glad to see that. Hopefully other governors will take a similar position. And our last item of the day, President Trump has announced that he plans to make a public announcement about his Supreme Court nomination, either on Friday or Saturday after the state funeral for Justice Ginsburg. They're anticipating on having that on Friday, and he said it's going to depend a little bit on the timing. But he said this morning he believes he'll be making that announcement next Friday or Saturday. So we have that to look forward to. That gets us caught up on the news today, and that gets us caught up on our Intelligence Insider. And short update, but I wanted to get on here and give you all the news that I've got. All the news that is fit for social media. I will try to do these news updates daily, Monday through Friday. I'll try to be here at 7 p.m. Eastern. Do a little news update. It's not going to be an hour long unless there's a lot of information to put out. Generally, I like to keep my updates less than 20 minutes because I value your time. It's important. And like I said, I have a lot of things I have to do myself. So there you go. That's my news update. I will catch you on tomorrow's broadcast, 7 o'clock Eastern, here on CloutHub, channel 115.